So when Hemingway in his movie talks about blowing up the bridge, he didn't know what he's talking about. Us guys do, we did it. My commitment was so dyed in the wool already, you might say it. So committed that I only go, 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 go. And when I got to Spain, I wanted to know where I wanted going to go there. And I wanted to get there. Let's get going. Let's do it. Not not in a dictatorial way. But heck, this is our next step. What's our next step? Oh, okay, we'll go there. Okay, oh, you want me to go there? Okay, we'll go there. So my thinking when I got to Spain was the same as the Spanish opposition, the people. What do we need to do? And how do we need to, what do we have to do to defeat fascism now and here in Franco? That's it. I was already a Spaniard. There was an agreement. Finally, Franco agreed to withdraw all foreign volunteers, which he couldn't do because most of the biggest part of his army was Italian. And but so the Republic had been pushing for that, the Republican government, and so when they finally forced the decision was through the League of Nations that was then, not the United Nations, the League of Nations. And so what they did, they counted all the foreign volunteers, put them in special camps, and got them ready to come home. Send them back to their countries if they could safely go back to their countries. But being from the United States, they just, well, before that, let me tell you, I got hit with shrapnel in the stomach, in my liver. I still got it there. In a bombing of Valencia, they were, at night, it was an attempt to bomb the railway repair yards. And we were within striking distance, you might say, of that. And I knew, we knew enough about planes that we knew where they were at and where so here I was, already got in bed, and I have no clothes on because it was very hot in the fall of Valencia. In the fall in Valencia, it's real hot, and so I heard the planes coming. We knew planes. We knew what you had to in anti-aircraft. We knew where they were, what direction they were, and how high they were in general. Now, as these planes come flying over, all of a sudden I realized they were coming directly over us. And I was half asleep, not really asleep, but kind of dozing. I sat up in bed right quick, and it was at that same time the bomb hit. It was a monastery. We were, and we'd been told by the people around that when Franco started his revolt, all them monks got guns and took off for the front to help stop Franco. You see, that was one thing about the church in Spain. The lower echelons were close to the people. The higher echelons were closer to the Pope. And I don't hurt nobody's feeling when I say the Pope was on Franco's side. Well, anyhow, I sit up right quick. If I had stayed laying down, that shrapnel would have blew over me. But because I was sitting there, it hit me in the middle of my body. And I didn't even know I was hit till we started leaving the building, and I felt, and I looked down and I had blood all over me. So they finally got a truck, and we were only about a block or so from the main military hospital. And so they put it in that truck, and the hospital was close enough to the bombing that everybody had gone down the basement for protection. And when we came, there was about 2 or 3 of us, they said, "Oh, here's some of the guys that were hit." And they put me in a stretcher, put me in the hospital, and over to the operating room, and started putting me out. And what really bugged me, I was, of course, those buildings were rock, and there was a lot of dust. So I was full of dust and blood all over. And as I was passing out, or being prepared, there was students, young kids, being sent through medical training, and some of them of course, were girls, but I guess they were all within 18 years old. And when they say, as I was already kind of passing out, and I was embarrassed as hell when one of those young ladies took hold of my penis and cleaned it. Anyhow, I was out pretty soon anyhow. I tell you the truth, us guys that were volunteers from foreign countries knew that we were going to have to be sent out of the country, out of Spain. And so what the internationals had done had been very important at the first. But as the Republic built up its armed forces, and there was less and less foreign volunteers, it was not, our participation was not that important anymore. You had some pretty substantial Spanish regiments or divisions. I can name the division commanders, but it was a Spanish army, Republican army, that was carrying the ball by then. It was the three main commanders. Modesto was one of them, and Campesino was another, and they got started in the battles in when the people mobilized in Madrid to stop Franco from taking over Madrid, and those armies were formed with these, and let's face it, these guys were all communists. They were all the communists, and it was the Communist Party that built the Spanish Communist Party that built the basic main divisions of the Spanish Republican Army. Now that's my opinion, but I was there, I saw them, and I know damn well who they were. I was not 1A, I was 1B because of my wound, see. And so I didn't go right away. But when they did finally draft me, they sent me to, well, the organizing center was that's a place I was in the Army was, I can't, anyhow, they sent me there, Monterrey, and I went back to the same Army base that I'd been in before, and they had guys coming in from everywhere, draftees. They had a whole bunch of guys from our southern states. And anyhow, what I want to, it's kind of kidding in a way, but when I was sent to Monterrey, they lined up the guys. You're from this, you're going to this outfit, you're going to this outfit. And when it came to me, the guy that was processing me said, "Hey, look, where do you want to go?" "Oh, I don't know. I've had a lot of experience." And he said, "Well," it took me to a room by myself, and I thought it was going to be for political reasons. But he said, "Look, I'm going to go out and have a cigarette, and when I come back, I want you to have your mind made up about what outfit you want to go to." So they gave me special consideration, and I don't know why, because all these guys standing in ranks, holding on to their whatever they had, and they sent them here, here, here. They didn't ask them no questions. They said, "You're going here, you're going here." They told me, "You decide where you're going to go." Oh, wonderful. So I knew I didn't want to go to infantry. I found that out when we was in summer maneuvers in Washington. It was the National Guard in those days. I don't want to be in the infantry. Anybody that wants to be in the infantry is kind of stupid. All right, so I did. Then when I went to the field artillery in Monterrey, I liked that. I rode a horse all the time. It was horse-drawn, French 75s. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, in a way, I did. Let me put it this way. Two big money moguls like the Koch brothers, we were a bunch of bastards. Yeah. So politically, we were let's say, we were suppressed or whatever. But we were political. I don't know how to phrase it, but they didn't take any of us like they did the Rosenbergs and hang us, but run us through a electric machine. But I had to. It wasn't just from going to Spain. It was my political activity. Once I come back to Los Angeles, I began to be involved with the Young Communist League. And in fact, I was kind of a leading element among them in Los Angeles for a little bit, until I decided to go back to the farm in Modesto. But I'll tell you what, it kind of answers the question a little bit. When the McCarthyites began to harass all left-wingers, especially Communist Party members, they ran around talking to everybody that I knew, I worked for, and say, oh, we're looking for that SOB. He's a rat. He's a traitor to our country and all that crap, you know, McCarthyism. And I heard about it because the people they talked to, like the guy that was pruning his orchard, they come and talk to him. Boy, oh boy, they no more are left. Then he got in his car and come and talked to me. Say, do you know them jerks, what they're after you? And here he's my boss. Well, let's face it, we belonged to the farm organization, the Grange, both of us. So we were politically active and saw things pretty much the same. And now this is the guy I was working for. And they went to my son, which was, I raised him, although I never, we actually just, he wasn't my son, but they asked him about his mother and I lived together for a while. And I kind of raised him and his younger brother. And he learned to do farm work with me. And so I heard about this later. They went to him and said, well, we don't want to know anything about him. We want to know who their friends are, well, who his friends are. And he told them, he says, I can't tell you, he don't have any friends. Well, the fact of the matter, I was right in the middle of activity, and I had friends all over the place. But this was his answer to it. In other words, he told him, get the hell out of here. I don't know anything about it. And that kind of thing, they harassed me. All right, well, the last thing last time I had moved into a black community and built a little house there in Modesto, outside of Modesto. And I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, but I was living in a black community. Well, let's tell you, when cops go around to a black community, they say, you know the door? That's it right there. In fact, one of the guys that we elected, president of the NAACP, and I was right in the middle of an activity of NAACP. He said, look, we gotta, when the police come around, we gotta treat them right. They said, yeah, right is the back door. Get out of here. And black people still feel the pressure of the, I'm sure they do yet, of police repression on the part of the white police establishment. Anyhow, they went to the woman next door, lived next door to me, and told them they were looking for me. And I told her, well, let's face it, she was a prostitute. I don't often say that. But she's a young woman, and she had two nice, cute little kids. At one time, I guess she was doing a little business, and I lived 2 doors from her place. And they come over to talk to me. And they were a nice little kids, little plump kids. They're about 3, I guess, 4. Anyhow, she come over and told me, the FBI is looking for you. I said, look, they know damn well where I am. What they're trying to do is scare you. She turned around and went home. And that's how far the attempt of the FBI to get the black community to work with white radicals. It didn't go nowhere. And to a large extent, it still don't. I keep in touch with the NAACP. I got a letter from them just now. National. We did some real good work in the NAACP. That was just a little bit before the civil rights movement. A little bit before. Well, the civil rights movement never did stop from the time black people came here as slaves. You might say. But anyhow, we did. Yeah, we did some real effective work with our Modesto branch of the NAACP. Let me tell you, you gotta, this is kind of cute. Well, I knew a lot of the guys, the black guys, the young guys that had been in the Army, and we tried to build a veterans organization. That anyhow, so I knew, they knew me. They knew me, and so I kind of forgot what I was going to say. And they stood by me. They stood by me. But anyhow, okay, yeah. So they had the Modesto NAACP branch had folded, and then they were in the process of rebuilding it. And there was only one white person, and she was a lawyer, and they elected her president. And then she had to move to the Bay Area. And then the black woman that was vice president took over as president. Well, I was the only white person in that meeting when they had to change. And they have a policy in the NAACP, if you got a black person in leadership, you need a white person in leadership also. So I was the only white person there at that meeting. Well, and I heard about that, the organizing. I made sure I got that next meeting. Well, here I am, sitting in the audience in the bunch, and so the question of electing a vice president, because the president the vice president took over as president. And so then the black person became president, and I was the only, because I was the only white person there, they nominated me as vice president, and I hadn't even joined it yet. And I said, well, I haven't joined yet. Yeah, but you can't. It was only $5. It was only, yeah, but it was a bad season, and there was no work, and I was absolutely broke. I didn't have the $5. And some black guys said, well, we'll give you the $5 to join. So they took my membership and elected me vice president of the branch the night I joined. And I'm proud of that. And I always was. And people, of course, most of them are dead now. They always looked at me like that. Look, you're a part of it. You're a part of us. And I can tell you so many things about that. I don't want to go into all that.